I read that you were abused, beaten, raped, and even shot in your ankle, and that it was shattered so badly surgeons considered amputation, and you returned to the streets on crutches.
Yes, I did.
Really?
When I got shot in a drive-by shooting, just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. It wasn't a situation that I was a part of. And this car came down the street. This was in South Phoenix. I didn't really know the neighborhood and what I was really getting myself into. I just basically was there to get high.
Right.
And that particular neighborhood was just known for drugs and also violence. And that particular night, as I was walking down the street, and I walked upon a guy that I knew, and I smoked cigarettes at the time, so I asked him if he had a cigarette, and he didn't, and we were just talking, and there was a house that we were standing in front of, and there was music, and people were playing dominoes, and just like a little house party. And the car came down the street, and it stopped in front of the house, and as I'm telling the story now, in my mind, it seems slow motion.
Right.
I know it happened faster than that, but the way that I recall it, and this was back in 1992, so the way that I recall it is the car came around the corner and it slowed down almost to a stop, and I heard like this clicking sound. And I don't know if they were loading the gun. I don't know exactly what they were doing, but the windows came down, and the occupants in the car had these blue rags on, so I could only see their eyes.
Right.
And they just started shooting. And my friend Richard grabbed me, he fell on top of me, and we both fell down on the ground. And there was a big palm tree there, and so I was just trying to crawl behind the palm tree, for safety. And it seemed like an eternity, but it was probably only a few seconds.
Right.
But during those few seconds, literally my life flashed before my eyes. I mean, I vividly remember, seeing myself in kindergarten and junior high and my grandmother, just moments in my life.
Right.
And then they drove off. And some people came out of the house, is everyone okay? And my foot sort of was tingling, like when your foot falls asleep.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it felt like. And I tried to get up, and I wasn't able to get up. And when I looked down, and there was like this, it looked brown spot on the ground, and I looked over at my foot and realized that I had been shot, and blood was coming out. And the moment my eyes saw the blood, it was instant pain. Before that, I didn't feel, I didn't feel anything, but it was instant pain. And yes, I went to the hospital, and to make a long story short, altogether, I had 11 operations and 4 plastic surgeries to reconstruct my foot.
But that wasn't enough to make you...
It wasn't enough, because when I finally got out of the hospital, I went right back to the same neighborhood, to the same environment. I was in a wheelchair, then I was on a walker, then crutches and a cane, and eventually, I started walking on my foot, and I had this boot, like a cast thing on, and before I had even healed from that, I got hit by a car coming out of a dope house, and I was high at the time, and people were telling me, Brenda, watch out, and I was very greedy and selfish at that time, and I thought, oh, they just want some of my drugs, and I just didn't pay any attention. They were trying to warn me that the car was bagging out of the driveway, so the car hit me, and I fell, and I had a few scratches, but nothing major, and I didn't feel any pain.
Wow.
And eventually, a few weeks later, I was on 24th Street and Broadway, and I was just so far gone in my addiction. I was standing in front of this market, just getting high, out in the open, just like maybe daring the police, in my mind, like I just didn't care. And these 2 girls were arguing, and then the one girl picked up a beer bottle and she broke it on the concrete slab. She was chasing the other girl, and I was sort of paying attention, but not really. And as the one girl ran past me, I sort of just moved over like this, and she was trying to stab the girl, but she stabbed me. And I didn't really feel it though.
Yeah.
You know, the physical pain. And then I got burned with cigarettes, not being able to pay my debt to the dope man, and just, you know, many horrible things happen. But when you're living that lifestyle, it comes with the territory. Right. I'm not saying that I deserved it, but I put myself in that situation, and I think that many times, in my opinion, a lot of things happen in our lives because either we allowed it to happen or we created the situation for it to happen. Right. And so in my case, I not only allowed it, but I created it from the beginning, because no one put a gun to my head, no one forced me to do drugs, no one forced me to come down to Phoenix to hang out on the South Side with drug dealers and, you know, get high and do drugs. It was a personal choice.
Right.